Welcome. I'm Sierra. I'm going to go over the Aftermath Character Creator with you and talk about the i314 website as well. I will discuss both Aftermath characters and how to use the Character Creator to your advantage. The first thing that you have with any Aftermath character is an age group. Age groups range from age group 0 to age group 5. Age group 5 being the oldest and age group 0 being the newest. If you're a new player, I strongly suggest you pick a group 3 or group 4 character to start with. Group 5, group 0, and group 1 are great for specialty characters if you have something special in mind, but for your first character, let's just go with group 3 or 4. For this example, I'm going to go with group 3. When you roll up your group 3, or whatever group you choose, it'll tell you your base age. In this case, my base age is 40, and then some random number is added to that, and it gives you your actual age. My actual age for this character is 42. That could be a lot higher, which can be bad because characters that are older have a less of a lifespan. With a group 3 character, you get some free stuff. These are your age modifiers. You get an initial score in pre-rune culture, which is the ability to discuss things that happened before the rune, like MTV and Fox News, with somebody who's in the rune. You get 2 non-firearm skills or 1 firearm skill. Either one, you can still pick both, but you get them for free. If you pick certain non-firearm skills, you can get 4 points worth of it, and a firearm skill always costs 3, so you might get an extra point if you go with 2 non-firearm skills. You get double literacy and double tech use, which is quite nice. All players, characters, receive brawling skill and 1 survival skill. Brawling skill is the ability to hit things with your fists and objects that you happen to pick up. With brawling skill, you can use any weapon you find in the game and beat people with it. The only problem is if you're not actually punching the person, it's an averaging skill. So if you pick up a sword, your BCS is halved when you're using it. If you pick up a polearm or a horse or a tree limb, you can use them all as effective weapons with brawling skill, as long as you remember that they're going to be averaged. Now, if you have longsword skill and you pick up a longsword, then you would use your longsword skill. Survival skills are basically the ability to find shelter, water, food, fire in any specific area. They're Format 1 skills. So Survival Urban allows you to do that function in an urban environment. Survival Rural allows you to do that in a rural environment. But because they're Format 1 skills, not Format 2, that specificity is not does not allow you to use it in a situation where, let's say, if you're using Stealth Urban, but you were using it in a rural area, you could use it at half your BCS. Survival skills do not work that way. They are Format 1. You can either survive urban or you can survive rural. You may not survive urban with rural skill at half. You also get some development points and some attribute points. I'll explain that on the next couple of screens. So let's hit continue, go to the next page now that we've locked in our age group 3. Talents are the least important thing you're going to generate on a character, but there is something to remember about talents. When you generate a talent and that talent is above 10 or 10 or above, then you get a special ability, a bonus ability. For combative, it's the ability to gauge opponents. That means that you have significance, aptitude in that talent. Now, some talents here are listed no natural aptitude. With a 0, a -1 or whatever, anything below 1, you have no natural aptitude. That affects skills' ability to learn by doing, which means when you use a skill, it doesn't go up automatically. And also when you try and train in that skill during downtime, it doesn't go up. So if you're going to be a doctor, make sure your scientific is above 0, 1 or above. Which in this case, the character has got a 2. If you're going to work with your hands and do mechanical, or you have natural talent, those should be above 0. My preference is to figure out what you're going to do, make at least one of those 10 points, and then put the rest of the points into your combative. Combative talent will give you a lot of benefits. That gives you a 14. So a basically skill score of 14 with whatever combat skill you take. Okay, let's go to the next page. You have 0 points remaining. You can go to the next page. Attributes are one of the most important things you're going to do. So when you get to this page, look to find out how many attribute points you have. You have 2 attribute points. That means that if you allocate 2 points, you get the maximum advantage for your character. In this case, you get a bunch of extra points. It looks like total additional points 4. So just for taking 2 points and allocating them, you've got 4 points. Now, because this is a age group 3 character, they've got a lot of extra points. I'm going to go ahead and use a couple of more of my development points to go up. Now you'll notice that that went up exactly the amount of points that I added, because they're not development points, they're development points, sorry, not attribute points. Attribute points gives you a D3 more points. Development points just increase it by 1. But it gives us some stuff to work with. Okay, there are attributes that you want to focus on, and there are attributes that you're going to have to settle on. Now we have 83 points we can allocate. So first, we need to determine what our deafness is going to be. And when you're thinking about your deafness, you have to think about what kind of character you're going to have, how many points you have, and those types of things. So actually, you may need to come back to the screen after you've picked some of your skills and re-edit this. So don't worry, you can come back at any time and edit these values. I'm going to make a doctor. So when I make a doctor, I will start with a deafness group of 3. Now you'll notice that that's 15. I'll allocate 15 points and I'll be in deafness group 3. The reason that I want to be in deafness group 3 is because that gives me a maximum number of actions of 3. Now it's extremely important to, here it is right here. It is extremely important that you pick some of these attributes based on these group breakdowns. So group 1 is 3 points. Group 2 is 14, Group 2 starts at 4 points, and group 3 starts at 15 points. Those are the breakpoints that these skills are best in. There's also another breakpoint for group 4, which is up here at 25. Now it's doubtful I'll have enough points to do 25, and for a doctor probably don't want to do 25 anyways, but it's always good to hit those breakpoints, not below the breakpoint, but right at the breakpoint. Okay, so I'll also do that for my wit, because wit is very important for doctors, so I'll put him in group 3, and I'll do 15. Now that we have our wit and our deafness, then we have to think about our speed. Now if you look down here, there's some numbers that give us an idea. It tells you your base action phase, maximum number of actions, and phases consumed in action. So base action phase of 1, that's kind of unrealistic. That means you'd be dead before you did anything because your speed is too low. So what you want to do is increase your speed to a point, and let's do 12 and see what happens. If we do 12 points in speed, we get a base action phase of 6, maximum number of actions of 3, and a phases consumed in action of 2. Now that's kind of interesting, because mathematically that's almost perfect. We start at phase 6 in combat, we have 3 actions, and they take 2 action phases to do. But we can actually increase that a little bit. In fact, if we increase that to 16, our base action phase goes up to 8. Our maximum number of actions is still 3 because it's set by our deafness, and our phases consumed in action, still 2. As a matter of fact, if we go up to 18, we see what happens. Now our base action phase is 9, our maximum number of actions is 3, and our phases consumed in action is 3. Now, if your character is going to have a strength of at least 15, phases consumed in action of 3 is a bit too slow. So you'd want to at least try and get that down to 2. Well, we can do that by decreasing this 1 point to 17, and suddenly now our base action phase is 9. It means we start combat phase 9. Our maximum number of actions is 3. We can do 3 things in combat. Fire our weapon 3 times, swing our sword 3 times, whatever. And our phases consumed in action is 3. Whoops, we need to lower that down a little bit more, don't we? Now, there we go. 8, 3, 2. So our phases consumed in action is 2 is really good. So we like that. But because we made that concession, we'll have to raise our strength up to 15 so we don't get affected by recoil. So we put that up to 15. Now, remember I said we'd do that until we ran out of points? Well, now we only have 26 points left. We have to do will. So let's do will of 9. And that gives us 18 points left. We'll put 18 points here and see what that does to us. Notice I didn't worry about the groups for those two. So, oh, actually I can make that 19. Okay, so we have 0 points remaining. I've allocated all my points. So our DRT, damage resistance total, is 31. That's very good. Our phases consumed in action is 2. That's very good. Our base action phase is 8. Not great, but unless we're really willing to put a lot more into deafness, that's as best as we're going to get. And our will is 9, and our strength is 15. 15 is right on the marker for group 3, which allows us to use heavier weapons in combat. Okay, so let's go to the next page. We'll come back if we need to look at this in a minute. That takes us to the skill page. Now, you'll notice that on the skill page, I've got your attributes up here. On the skill page, some of these things are gray, and you can't do anything with them. Gray ones means you do not have the prerequisite skills to make them. Now, we know this guy's going to be a doctor. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get those 2 non-firearm combat skills that are worth 4 points so that he can get the most out of that. So, non-combat, so you can look up here and it says cost and format, and cost, we want cost 2 or 3, and we want it to be have an attribute and talent of combative. So we want deafness, wit, and combative. That's a combat skill. Health, wit, and combative. That's combat skill. Combat skill. So what we're going to do is we're going to find one of these combat skills that we like, and we're going to take that. Now that breech-loading artillery, that's probably going to fall under firearm skill, so we won't take that. Let's take something interesting like crossbow, and something else interesting like 2 weapon. Oh, by the way, if you can't find 2 weapon, you can just go up here and go 2 and hit search, and it'll take you right to it. There it is. Now it didn't take it right, it put it at the top, but yeah. So let's take 2 weapon. Now we always double these skills for combat. Your primary combat should be doubled. And then you hit the calculate button to see what you get. So it gives you a score of 88 and a base chance of success of 18. Okay, so that's our combat skills done. So those are the free ones. So let's go ahead and get a firearm skill. Let's look at rifle. Rifle is good. Here's pistol. Pistol is a good skill because you can use a pistol. But the disadvantage of a pistol is pistol fires on average with a +1. If you get a rifle, on average, you're firing at +4. Well, +4 is amazing, right? Because it defeats a lot of the enemy's pluses. So rifle's far better than pistol. Take rifle before you take pistol. Okay, let's go ahead and calculate that and see what we got left. So we have 28 points remaining. Now we're going to be advanced medical, so it's grayed out. We can't pick it. So we look and see we need to have first aid. So we click on first aid. It takes us to first aid. We click it. Now first aid is a prerequisite skill, so don't worry about doubling it. See, it says taken. Then we go to lab technique, and we take that one. That'll take us back up here. Now advanced medical is open. We can take it. So let's go ahead and take that once, take that twice. Since we want to be a doctor, I gotta wait for it to update. So our advanced medical skill is now 16. So we are now officially a doctor, except we don't know first aid. First aid is less skill than, oh, we did get first aid. Do we have to take that as a requirement? We did. Okay, so we have first aid and we have advanced medic. So let's go ahead and take that doubled, because that's always good to have doubled. Okay, that gives us 17 points remaining. So that's basically it. We have a doctor. So now let's think about the other skills a doctor would need. Well, first, a doctor needs to have a survival skill. All characters need survival skill. So we're going to take a survival skill, and probably urban is the best one to take. And it only costs one, so we're going to double it. And then we're going to take search urban. We're not going to double that one because search is not really a skill that benefits from being doubled that much. Okay, that gives us 14 points left. Now we're a rounded character. We're a doctor. We have a way to find food and water in an emergency. But if we had a hunting skill or a fishing skill, let's say fishing trap or hunting, I missed it, hunting trap. Now keep in mind there's two kinds of hunting, hunting trap and hunting shoot. You'll notice that they are format 2 skills, right? As a format 2 skill, that means that if you take hunting, trap, and you calculate that, that'll give you your hunting trap score, which is 6. Then you have a BCS of 3 in hunting shoot. So 3 kind of sucks, but that's probably a skill we'll work on, and that's something you can learn by doing. The advantage of trap over shoot is trap is passive. You set a trap and you leave it, come back the next day, and there's your food. Shooting requires you to hunt, so it takes time every day. If you don't check your trap for 2 days, it's still going to be there mostly. So we usually take trapping or fishing trapping rather than fishing with a hook because that's faster. Okay, so now we have 13 points left, and we're going to find a really wonderful skills to get. So let's take bicycle riding because that's always good for motion. What else might we need? We might need to climb something. Doctors maybe knows a little commerce. That's kind of nice. And knife skills good for a doctor because you always need to be able to defend yourself. What we got left? We now have 8 points left. Okay, so let's pick motorcycle driving, although I'm not a big fan of that skill. We'll take that doubled, which I wouldn't normally double that skill, but I'm just trying to eat these up. We'll take, not size not good. We'll take stealth and double slingshot. How does that make us work? Calculate. It says 0. Perfect. We're done. So we've just used, and we've got our 4 points of skills because I noticed we didn't quite get it with our last pick. So that's it. We hit continue. Now this will take you over to the character analysis. Now this is where it's really important because this is going to tell you about your character. And obviously I created a doctor, but if you created something else, then we'll look through and see how that works. First, look over here and look at your character. Make sure that you have everything you need. Our base action phase is 8, maximum actions is 3, and our phase is consumed in action 2. That's wonderful. Combat dodge ability is 2. Awesome. Healing rate 3. Shock factor 30. DRT, damage resistance total, is 31. All's wonderful. This looks great. I love those values. These values are good. I loved our attribute values. I mean, obviously we could put more into will at the cost of health, but you know, whatever. Now, the analysis part is down here. So keeping in mind what we did for our attributes up here, will was used 15 times. Wit was used 15 times, will was used 3, strength was used 4, deafness was used 15, speed was used once, and health was used once. Now if we look at our scores, we can see that maybe if we're trying to optimize our skills, maybe health was too high because we only used it once for our skills, but health was high because we wanted that high DRT. So, okay, so that looks good. Talents, remember I said they weren't that important, but now how did we do? We used our combative, which was high 6 times, and we used our scientific, which was high 2 times. Oops. We would have done better if we'd have made our natural higher. Okay, so let's do that. Let's go back to the talents and fix it. We have to put in a character name, and you have to put in a password, and then you have to hit talents. It'll take you right to talents. No, we're not going to save that. Okay, so now we know our scientific talent, our 8 points we sent in there was wasted. So let's put that down to 0 and gives us 8 points remaining. Now, our natural could use 8 points. So let's put 8 points there. And then we'll continue. And then we'll scroll down because this is the same numbers we had before. And then we'll hit continue. And we're back at the estimated screen. Now it says that our natural is 8. And we've used that 8 5 times instead of 2. So we actually have increased skills by 8 points. So if we look down here, we have natural. This skill score was 30, it's now 38. This skill was 30, it's now 38. This one was 38, it's 30, it's now 38. So very helpful. We actually increase those a lot because the difference between 30 and 38 is 2 points. That's kind of nice. So you look through your skills, look at the skills you've got doubled, make sure you've got everything you need. And then if you like it, you can hit the save button and the character is saved. And then it shows up here at the very top. There's the character we just created. And you can do a PDF of it. And it actually puts it, if you have Adobe Acrobat loaded, right on a character sheet for you. Even yellow, like the one out of the box. And all your skills are listed in alphabetical order. And that is the real advantage of this character creator, is it gives you a nice sheet with the skills in alphabetical order. It's calculated all your skill scores. It's calculated all your BCS. And it's calculated your maximum encumbrance. It's done all those little things, personal encumbrance, age. It does all those things that you just couldn't do otherwise because it was too much of a pain. And that is all there is to the skill, the Aftermath Generator. So if you enjoy it, make a bunch of characters. Thanks.